Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, you guys. I did come on a little early this morning. Yes, yes, yes. So, hello to all my peaceful leaders. Once again, I am on my Podbeam as well as here on TikTok Live. So, you guys come on in and join me today. So, welcome to Behavioral Health Talks with Dr. TK. I'm Dr. Tarina Knight, also known as the Behavioral Health Queen podcast. So thank you for joining, whether you're here on live or maybe you are watching from or listening from the Podbean. Either or, thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. I truly appreciate the support and also the engagement. So whether you're listening on your lunch break today or catching this when you're live at the office or from your car, wherever the case may be, I'm glad that you are here. So today I'm going to be talking about a piece of pressure in leadership and how we can shift burnout and chaos to clarity and control, even in a system that feels like, we're basically being swallowed whole and don't feel like we have any sense of control in what's going on. Here in the news, we're seeing things where higher education is basically being highlighted, losing grant funding and various different things. And those things bring stress and uncertainty to a area that in society we feel is exceptionally important to the success of our future leaders. So you're leading during crisis, right? So let's talk a little bit about what the numbers look like. And I just want to start with some basic facts, okay? You can see these on my website. I've done the research. I've put it out there so you can see it because it's not just you, okay? It's actually the system that is causing a little bit of the uproar that we are having in our higher education as well as with behavioral health. We hear this thing, oh, we need behavioral health, oh, we need these level of services, but then it's like once the professionals get in those areas, it's hard for them to be able to thrive and be successful in it because it's just so controlled, taking so much out of what is being taught and learned in those areas that you don't feel like they can be their true selves in higher education leadership and behavioral health leadership. So, when we look at the stats, 71% of our leaders today is reporting that they're feeling overstressed, more stressed than regular. And 40% of them actually considering leaving. They're actually considering leaving their positions altogether. And that's something because when you put a lot of desire in, you put a lot of time and energy into something, you want to be successful at it regardless of who you are, right? So yes, definitely recognize the core factors and issues that our higher education and healthcare is going through because they're going through it, and it's a lot to do with our systems and the level of engagement that is there and level of support that is not really being identified with. So when we're looking at engagement and, is it sliding? Is it sliding, especially among managers and supervisors and senior administrators? Is it changing? Is it causing a lot of the stress that we are actually having to endure during this process? Yes, we can say that is evident with the policies and procedures that being created, and that is a part of our system. So especially being in higher education and in healthcare, you're managing crises, you're managing policies, you're managing the level of expectations that are there that kind of feel a little bit impossible to meet when there are things that are constantly changing. And some of you guys listening feel the same way in your actual areas in which you work because things are constantly changing, right? So here's a little bit of the truth. It's not that you're lazy at all. It's not that you're weak. It's that the system itself isn't designed to protect your well-being. It just isn't. We work ourselves down, we get sick, and we're left out to dry, right? And they move on to the next best employee. That's just how it is. And so you have to think about your own well-being sometimes when you are dealing with workplaces and the various different stressors that you have to endure during those processes, because it's the system that's constantly changing. You might get something and then something else changes and you're like, oh my goodness, it's one more new thing I have to learn, right? So I'm gonna repeat, it's not that you're lazy, it's not that you're weak, it's just that the system itself is designed to not protect your well-being. And so thank you guys for joining this morning and listening. Definitely engage with me. I took off the subscribe, I think it was, what was preventing you guys from being interactive before and chatting with me. That's no longer there, but please do subscribe. I'm going to start doing some subscribe only live, that I can get a little bit more engaged with individuals and provide a little bit more of support to your goals and being able to thrive and move forward in your goals. And yes, but here's the good news, right? So I've been in various different rooms. Working in employee assistance counseling and consulting gave me the opportunity to actually meet various different forms of leadership, not just in higher education, not just in healthcare, but in manufacturing areas, aviation. I even had a client that was the local airport and their staff, employees, and family members. I've worked with various different leadership individuals in various different areas. So I've sat in those rooms. I've worked with tobacco organization, manufacturers, and their employees and staff and leadership. And so I've led those abilities to have some turnaround or some ability to drive some change. And so I created this framework, lead, grow, impact, and scale, because those are very important factors to being a great leader, right? Is you got to be able to lead and know how to lead. You got to be able to grow. You got to know how to provide that level of impact, and you also have to know how to scale your capabilities so that you can be successful. Now, does the framework help you in regards to peace and power? Yes, because that's the objective. The objective is to maximize your understanding of who you are in those core areas so that you can learn how to have boundaries and actually grow and have a sense of peace and the actual roles that you guys have to take on. So let's get into three main pain points here that is really important to help keep leaders from getting actually stuck, because that's the big thing. And I apologize if I'm looking back and forth for those of you that just come in. I'm doing that because I'm actually on my Podbean Live as well. I tend to do both together since the information that I'm sharing is interchangeable, and it allows me to interact with more than just the people here on TikTok. So if I don't get engagement from TikTok, then guess what? I'll look over here at Podbean and see if I got someone there too. But when we're looking at the first pain point, and the first pain point I want to talk about today is burnout, and burnout that's over being overwhelmed, okay? So being burnout from overwhelm is a process, okay? Burnout is something that's inevitable. We're all going to have it because we all have desire to work to our fullest. Hi, people, how you? Thanks for joining this morning, and thank you for putting something on the chat to let me know that it is working. Yes, definitely. If you're beginning this morning, get your partner points with a little part of the top. Please, by all means, if you're here, go ahead and make the most of your experience. So burnout is not just tired. It's about a trauma loop. It's about you internalizing those bases of things that you're having to deal with on your jobs on a day-to-day basis, right? And not feeling like you can do anything about it. And sometimes it's not about what you can do about it. It's about how you can protect your well-being, because that's not the objective of the organization you work with. So if you're always working, even your breaks are stress-inducing, you open your laptop on Sunday or Wednesday, and on Sunday, and suddenly you feel like it's Wednesday. That's a trauma loop. That's you actually getting into the process of feeling like you have to do certain things, and then you're looking for a certain level of outcome. And if you don't get that certain level of outcome, then it becomes stressful and overwhelming. You don't feel like you're being successful with what you're doing. So here's a better way. Let's take a look at my lead framework and how it can help reset your mindset around what you're doing. And the first part with the lead is the L, right? So you want to listen. And I know you guys have heard me talk about this a little bit, but listen. Tune into your body and how it reacts to the pressure that you're being placed under. Use smartwatches and other levels of technology to help you manage your level of stress. I mean, it's so advanced now that your phones can tell you when you're getting stressed and say, okay, take a couple deep breaths and take a moment and bring yourself back. So utilizing those tools are exceptionally important to you maintain your well-being, but you also have to listen to it when it's telling you to do those things. And then the E in lead is evaluate. Ask, is it really worth my strategic energy? Okay, is it worth that strategic energy that you have? Because it's not just about the energy, it's the time that you put into it and the amount of effort that is required, right, to complete whatever it is that you're trying to do. So ask yourself, is it really worth your strategic energy? Okay. Now, the A in lead is adjust, and adjusting to what you're having to deal with looks like this. So build into white spaces. And when I say white spaces, it's spaces in your calendar that you block out every day that you utilize as time that's for yourself to work on your well-being. Now, maybe your smartwatch tells you before your white space that you need to take some deep breaths. By all means, do so because you need to get your body to a state of activity when you are going through your day-to-day activities. And then finally, delegate. Use a simple lesson chart that everything doesn't need to be, okay? It really does. And we tend to want to participate in those things just because we feel like we're going to get some form of recognition and seen it some way. And then guess what? When we don't see those things, then it upsets us and makes us feel stressed and overwhelmed. So don't carry yourself with that, right? Just go ahead and delegate things out that you know isn't in your job description because you're not going to get credit for it if you go to another job. All they're going to do is focus on the things that you are actually responsible for in your job description. So definitely know your job description and delegate to those that are responsible for those particular jobs. Thank you guys for joining this morning. Definitely go ahead and click on your heart links and get your points for today. But yes, definitely drop a fire in the chat or a comment if something you need to implement this week. Just tell me something you feel like you need to implement to change the way you lead this week, whether it's putting white spaces, whether it's delegating things out to other people, whether it's recognizing is it really worth your strategic energy, or if it's just tuning into your body. What have you neglected? Put that fire in the chat or a comment and let me know what you're thinking, how you feel, and what are those things you're dealing with this week or that I've identified that you feel like you can improve. Whether it's listening to your body, whether it's evaluating whether or not what you're doing is really worth your strategic energy, or if you are adjusting by putting those two white spaces in to your blocks into your calendars to of time that you need to be successful at the task or de-delegating. So which is it? You guys put a fire in the actual chat or go ahead and come on you guys and engage with me this morning. I'm gonna give you some time to engage and join me on a journey because it's important that you are able to identify with these core factors because your well-being is important to maintain and having boundaries in your workplace is also exceptionally important. Hey, maybe you just want to ask me something behavioral health related that's to leadership. All right, so we're going to move on to the second pain point, and the second pain point is decision fatigue, which happens so much. Hi, you guys, thanks for joining. Yes, it says go ahead and get your heartbeat points. That is up at the top. But yes, if you're making decisions from the minute you wake up to be ready to follow, you're not leading. You're reacting. Just responding to what's being thrown at you. And so here's something to think about when you look at the growth framework. a growth framework that I think is success. Okay, so this is going to help you identify what ways in which you can improve and grow in what it is you're doing. The G in grow is goal. Setting one core goal outcome for a particular core is being successful, not per day, not per week, because guess what? When we start being unrealistic, we're only adding to our stress. We're not making it better. So we got to be realistic. Set a goal that's by a quarter. And then once you achieve it, you can increase and set a new goal. The R is reality. So reality is, where are you breaking down or bottlenecking? Where are you actually creating this mindset that you are actually not thinking in a space that is realistic to what you're having to deal with? Hi, you guys. Thanks for joining. If you come in and definitely show me some love. If not, say hi for 5 minutes or comment in the chat. I'm starting to wonder if people are coming in and don't see other people engaging, so that's triggering them from engaging. I don't know, social norms and social conditioning is something that I've heard over the years, and basically it can impact people. So if they see one person engaging in supporting, most of them will as well. If they don't, that's what happens. They won't use it because they feel like there's something wrong with it. They feel like, oh, these many people are doing and nobody is giving partner. What's wrong with her? What she's talking about, right? I get it. As a professor of psychology, so I studied all forms of psychology over the years, and that's one of the reasons why I don't appear to be the norm of what you see on social media, because I kind of understand and know what some of the things are that society uses, right? So we talked about G, which is goal. We talked about R is reality, and the O is options and grow, right? So what options are there? At least 3 low cost or no cost fixes that you can create to help you be successful with that particular goal that you set. And then will, having the willpower, so choose one action every day and plan a plan, do, study, act cycle to reset it. So what is plan, do, study, act? You are actually creating a plan behind what it is you're trying to achieve, and then you're doing something, okay? But you also have to study what it is that you need to learn to improve it. If you're not finding new ways of evidence-based ways to address it, then you basically do the same thing until you do that. And then finally, act on things that you can do in study to be successful in change. Here's my live tips. What's your biggest decision bottleneck? Drop that in the comments. What's the biggest decision that you feel like you have to have in order to address those challenges that you have to deal with? I always tell people to direct message me with any questions that they may have. But tell me what's your goal for this month. If someone want to share what their goal is that they've created for themselves this month, do that. Let me know. I would love to hear what your plans are and what are the things that you're wanting to be successful with this month. And if you want to share how, let me know. How will you accomplish that task or goal, right? So I'm going to wait a second. Give me a nice fire in the comments or a comment about what you think your lead and grow plan will be. All right, so let's talk about the last pain point. The last pain point here is the mission drift and constant chaos, right? The mission drift and constant chaos. So is it basically you being consistent and shifting gears, or are you gaining track? Okay, are you actually grasping onto what it is that you need to change and improve? So leaders feel the pressure to always pivot, right? But they're not pivoting with evidence-based information that's helping them actually change anything. They're just pivoting with maybe what the group says or what other leadership team members may be saying, and they're never really doing the checks and balances to see if that pivot is going to actually bring change. So they forget why they even started in the first place, right? So here's what helps when we look at the impact. Okay, impact is basically you completing a task, and your completing a task improves the basis of people what's around you, right? They're feeling as though they can be successful. They're feeling as if um, they can do the things that you say that they can do, and you're going to help them succeed at that, at being that great leader, right? So, impact framework looks at this. What's the issue? So, really think what the problem is. And then meaning, what's the meaning that you're connected to its purpose? So why are you doing it? Why have you identified this as being a potential problem that needs to be addressed? And then create a picture for everybody so they can understand how we're creating this problem and how can we win at providing a solution, right? So I being issue and being meaning to being picture, right? And then O being action. So what's the next right move? What's going to be what you utilize to improve the outcome of what the problem is? And then checking in, build accountability, delegate those tasks, know who's doing what, how they need to be successful at completing it, and then making sure that they're taking on that role and responsibility needed to get the job done. And then timeline, what is that timeline? Track visible progress. Okay, so as you complete a task, identify that. And some of you are saying, oh gosh, that's just too much work. I'm not trying to do that. But are you really a leader, and is leading really what you want to do? I realized over the years there are a lot of people that are put in leadership positions, given leadership roles that really didn't even want them, right? Or they wanted it just to get a certain level of attention, needed to progress into a particular area they wanted to. So in some instances, doing things outside your job description does help you. And in many instances, individuals are not seen that way. They're told, oh, I'm not going to give you credit for what you just did because it's not in your job description. So you go move on to another job. You want to say, oh, I did X, Y, and Z. And no one at the other job wants to validate it because it wasn't in the job description, but you may have done a really good job at it and helped many people that might have been that role. So try sharing your impact with the team this week that you work with, and watch how the grounds around you and the people that are around you tend to change and think about things differently, right? Because it's being strategic. It's not putting emotions or focusing a lot more on behaviors. It's about being successful. So put clapping hands in the chat if you feel like there is something that you have heard today that you feel like is important or impactful to you in your role as being a leader. I would love to know. Many of you just joined. Thank you for coming in. And this last little segment that I want to do is introducing my 5 days to Peace and Power Challenge. And you can definitely go to my website. The information is in my link tree. Go to my website. Challenge is a new tab there. If you click on it, you'll see all the upcoming challenges that I'll be doing, which are all 5 days. If you haven't went ahead and subscribed here on TikTok, do so. You'll get some free information that won't be given in the videos that'll be emailed out. But if you do subscribe, you'll get a video from me every day. It's only up to 2 minutes of talk time with some really good tips and information for that challenge for that week to help you be better at being a leader, because that's what it's about. And this actual challenge starts August the 18th and it's through the 22nd of this month. And it's my first challenge, right? So 15 minutes a day is what I'm dedicating time to totally. It will be the information sent out in emails, but it will also include the actual 10 minutes here on TikTok as well. So if you subscribe to TikTok, you get to have this interaction with me. Every day on that 5 days, and you get to ask me questions. Maybe you got my video and you want to ask me some specific questions about something I sent, you can definitely do so. So here I just wanted to give you a brief preview of what I would actually have during that week. And so the first day is to never feed the beast with you guys. Hopefully at this point, know that's my brand. Never fed the beast and never feed the beast. Work hard, stay peaceful. It comes with its own meaning, and I will talk about that week. But The first day is understanding never fed the beast, right? And cut your biggest energy drain is what we're going to do. And then the second is workflow reboot, right? Reset your calendar with intention. And then the third day is strategic delegation. Free up 5 hours daily, and we're going to talk about how to do that. And then the fourth day is wellness driven KPIs. And so aligning health plus performance. And then the last day is power plan. What's the power plan? Build a 90-day success map, okay? So you'll get daily coaching videos, which is about 5 to 7 minutes. You'll get an email lesson from me with some free information and tools. And the live check-in will be with me at noon each day here on TikTok, where you get to subscribe to and participate in. And first dibs on my peaceful power mind mastermind that will come up in September. Okay. Peaceful Leader Certificate you will get if you complete this whole challenge with engagement and everything. And yeah, I'm only doing 250 seats reserving, just because I want to make this a personable mission. And I know that a lot of people may not do it, or they'll sign up and they don't come, and that's okay. But yes, please do go to my link tree. You will find the information of this challenge in my link tree bio that takes you to my website. And yes, you don't have to choose between success and sanity. The two should intertwine with each other. And you can lead well and live well and be successful with your health as well. And you can hold power and protect your peace. And that's what this is all about. So here's what I want you to do now. I want you to go ahead and sign up for the challenge. Yes. I want you to maybe share it with 2 of your colleagues or someone that you feel like can be a support or accountability person for you on your journey. And then pick one of today's frameworks to implement this week. And definitely go and follow me on Podbean, because you will get to hear this all over again, so you can see where this information interacts with you on your day-to-day basis. So lead with reset, have grow and impact. And yes, go ahead, you guys, and if you feel the need to direct message me any questions after you re-listen to this, please do so, because this information will be on my Podbean live. Okay, so let's build momentum together. And until next time, never feed the beast, work hard and stay peaceful, you guys, and lead with power. All right, and intention. Really? I mean,